Hi everybody, Gary Chavez here of GCRS Games. I am also a guest writer over at Meeple Mountain. Today we'll be talking about Tabletopia. Tabletopia is an online gaming platform, and in this case, it is a browser-based online gaming platform. So you can open it up with Internet Explorer or Chrome, or it also works on a Mac. Uh, Couple of things before we move on. Notice that my cursor here has a little yellow halo around it. This is not something that Tabletopia does. This is something I added here to make it easier to track where my cursor is. I also added, it also will show you my mouse clicks. As you can see there. It also will show you my keystrokes. So there you go, keystrokes at the bottom. So hi there. So, what we're going to be doing is, a couple other things. So, with Tabletopia, one of the nice things about Tabletopia is there are subscription plans, but there's also a plan where there is no charge, there is no fee. There is a free subscription. It has certain limitations, but if you're just starting and just want to play around with this, it won't cost you anything. And if you want to join the game, it won't cost you anything. It's Tabletopia is much easier to play with if you have a mouse with a scroll wheel, as opposed to using something like a trackpad or a touchpad on a laptop. It's just much easier to manipulate stuff in Tabletopia. Tabletopia does not have a integrated voice chat feature in it. They actually encourage you to use something like Discord for voice chat. It just makes things a lot easier. And I found that it works. The two of them work very well together. Like you might need a slightly above average computer, or if you do have an average computer, it might chew up some memory. But in my uh, in my case, it does it does take up some processing power and some memory, so to get both, but it's not a lot. So this is the home screen of Tabletopia. Um the home screen right now, it might change over time, but I wanted to show you how to first get into a game and how to get other people into a game. So what I want you to do first is go to this menu that says All Games. So go ahead and click on that. And then go to this menu, click down menu over here. It says All Games, and just click on this little arrow pointing down, and it'll give you all kinds of games you can be, all kinds of categories that you can bring up. And just go ahead and hit Classic. I'll move my cursor over here, and this Cards Playground is what we want. This option right below my cursor here. So go ahead and just click anywhere on that. And this is the kind of the home screen of any particular game. All games have this, and this is the home screen for Cards Playground. And I just basically chose this because it has a lot of components that we can play around with. On this home screen is an explanation of the game, some pictures, some screenshots, uh, and some reviews here. Uh, one one thing you should pay particular attention to is this setups here, and as you can see, this says C8 more. So let's go ahead and click on that. That is one of the features of Tabletopia. It has what are called setups. Say you needed to set up a game. Just say there's a different setup from 1 to 4 players as opposed to 5 to 6 players, and so it'll have that option to have a setup that's 1 to 4 players, or different setup for 5 to 6 players, so you can go right into that as opposed to going into the game and then changing everything to fit the number of players. But you need to pay a particular attention to that, because that will determine how the maximum number of players you will be able to play during that session. And notice here that there are several setups for 1 to 4 players, and there are several setups here for 1 to 8, and all of them vary slightly. And we're going to want to play with this setup that's 1 to 8 players, 52 cards and chips. As I said, they have some components that we will want to play around with. So we can either play solo, play hot seat. Hot seat is when you have several players, but they're all sharing one computer. But let's go ahead and hit this play online button here. So hit that. And this is what's called a room in Tabletopia, and the room is where you'll be playing a game. And this is where all you and your players will meet. And this is called the room lobby, where you will kind of all meet up and before you actually enter into the game. Right now, it's only me playing. Uh, but you can add people here. As you can see there's an add seat button here, so I can, if I wanted to have 4 people in this game, I just add enough seats to have 4 seats here. And notice also that each of us is a different color. I would be blue, there would be red, a yellow, and a green player. What you want to do here is, remember we wanted the specific setup. So go to this section over here. This is 1 of 4 players, 24 cards, and just hit this menu pop-up button over here, and then scroll down and find the setup that says 1 to 8 players, 52 cards, chips, and so that's what we're gonna get. Oh, and I have to set up a seat, so I won't show you again how to set up the seat, but that's, you can keep on setting up seats there. So there are several different ways you can invite players, your players to play. You can uh, hit this invite players button. So these are you can invite people who are already logged on to Tabletopia, or who you friended on Tabletopia already. So these are the available players. Uh, you can also have you also have a friends list, and sadly I have no friends on here yet. But uh, you can have you can if you have a list of friends, you can find them here. You can also, as I mentioned before, um, use Discord, and that's mainly what I do. You can uh, this link here. This is a great way to get people. If you meet up on Discord, you would click on here and then copy URL, and then you would post that URL to the text chat in Discord, and someone could click on that, and that'll bring them right to this room, and it will put them in a seat. You can also yeah, copy this. Actually, will it let me? You can copy this room number and in Discord, and whoever uh, your other players can log into Tabletopia themselves, and then put that number in the search bar here, and that'll bring them to this room again. As I said, this won't cost. There's a way to play this for free, so whoever you invite won't have to pay anything, and actually they won't. It's not even a scheme where they have to put in a credit card or anything like that. You would simply come into the room, and you would enter a name, and that's all you would need. There is no fee, there's no credit card involved or anything like that. So it's a great way to try it out for newcomers. So I'm actually going to add some seats here, just to. There's no one who's going to be joining me, but it'll show off a couple other features in Tabletopia that I wanted to show you. Uh, so we will pretend like we're going to start a 4-player game. So when you have all that set up, go ahead and hit start. Now, this will take you out of the lobby, the game lobby and put you into a room. So there will be some messages as it's loading first, and just have to wait for it to load. And here we are. Here is our room, and it's basically consists of the table and components. And the table is seemingly infinite. You can move all around. There's no edge to it, and this is the orientation that sends you in. And I thought they would have the players up here. I purposely set up a four-player game because I thought they would put the player uh, icons up here, but I guess since I don't have anyone joining me, they didn't do that. But typically, your your name and color will be here, and then the other players will be up here. The red, yellow, and green players in this case would be displayed up here. Uh, let's go ahead and make this full screen just to make things slightly easier to see. So, camera controls. One of the first things that you can do is you can use let's do pan go over some panning commands. The arrows on your keyboard will pan the camera up, right, down, and left. You can use the arrow keys. The WASD keys also do the same thing. You can also use the mouse to pan. So just put your mouse anywhere and then left click, and you can drag the screen anywhere so you can pan that way. And if you right click instead, that will rotate uh, the components, the tabletop, I should say. As you can see, it's kind of goes off into infinity there. So one of the things I wanted to go over first was setting up some saved camera views. So the scroll wheel will allow you to zoom in. So let's zoom in on the center part here. Sometimes it just makes things easier. And go ahead and press Shift 1. And that click means you have saved a camera view. And let's save the view of our tokens here. So I just kind of pressed the left mouse button and panned over to here. Let's zoom in on blue a little bit more. So and then press Shift 2, and you'll save the second camera angle. So from here, I wanted to show you how the camera views work. Go ahead and press 0. 0 will always bring you to that original camera view, and 1, remember we set it up, it focused on the center components there, and then 2 was um, our little player setup there. So you can easily go between all these pretty easily, and that's basically all the views you want. But if you want to do it manually, you can also just use your mouse too. But these views will be normal views. So let's go back here. So to manipulating components. So these chips here are like player pawns or any other object that you can manipulate here, and so you can kind of hover over one of these components, press the left mouse button, and then grab one and kind of put it anywhere you want, but just for releasing the left mouse button. So you can take that, and you can also put them back on the stack on there. This can be a little tricky. you have it's let's see. See, I can put it on there without it being on the stack. You kind of have to, when you want to put it on the stack, you kind of have to hover over it for a little bit and see the stack sort of changes color, and that means it'll stack. And so that's kind of tricky to get a hold of, but with practice, it's easy to get. All right, this bag here is very interesting. This is kind of a bag you can, as sort of acts as a discard pile. You just put anything in there, and they're all gone. So you can put whatever component you put in there, and it's all gone. Uh, and what's important to remember about Tabletopia is all the objects in here have a object menu. And that object menu represents everything you can do to that particular object. So if you hover over this component here, this chip over here, and then right click, that gives you this object menu. So kind of a radial, this round menu here, and it shows you everything that you can do with this component. You can draw one, so let's draw one. That'll put it into what's called my hand. I'll go over what the hand is exactly in a minute, but that'll draw you one. You can also, for whatever reason, if you want to rotate them, you can also flip them. Yes, and then we'll flip them again. And you can take, do that, so we can put them back. So anything, just remember that if you kind of stuck somewhere, and you want to do something with an object, but not exactly sure how to do it, if you right click on it, it'll give you the menu, and you can figure out what you want to do from there. So that's pretty handy. That's a great thing about Tabletopia, is it gives you that menu. So let me put that back here. So cards. As I said, there is a uh, context menu that you can always bring up. There's also other ways you can manipulate this. If you wanted to, say, take a card from the stack, you would simply left click on it and then drag it over to where you want it. You can flip this card over by pressing F, or you can use the context menu and flip it back. You can also rotate these cards if you press Q, or there you go, or E. So you can also rotate the whole stack if you want to. As I said, also you can use this context menu to rotate it. To bring something into your hand, let's say you want to do it manually. So let's say I want to bring this into my hand, and a hand is a feature where you kind of in real life you would put it into your hand and you would hide what the cards are from the other players, and that that's the same feature in Tabletopia. Say I want to take this card, look at it, but not show the other players. So I would drag it down to the bottom of the screen, and there's going to be a highlight at the bottom here that you will see when you can put it in your hand. So drag it down, and there's the highlight right there. You can see it, and that'll now appear in my hand, and it'll flip over, and I can move all over the table, and no one else can see this card that's in my hand. And you can even take that card out and put it back on the table. Let's put that back here in my hand again. Wait for the highlight, and there it is. You can also hide your hand. Sometimes that kind of gets in the way of viewing the table, and so you can hide it just by pressing H and bring it back. So there you go. So let's say I wanted to take several cards from this. well, first of all, let's go through some of these. So you can uh, shuffle the cards. It'll randomize all the cards in there. You can flip them. You can take them. Let's say I wanted to uh, actually draw it. So take. You can take two cards and I'll put them on the table, and I can drag it down that way. All right, and again, no one can see this, and you can put it back on here. There we go. As you can see, sometimes it's hard to stack these. If I can simply put it like that, and the thing about that is Tabletopia does not consider this whole thing a stack. It considers it to be two different things, and that can be a problem. But if you go close to it and you can see the under card center that changes color, and now it's a stack. And if I put my cursor on there, say, hey, there are 3 cards in this stack, and that's exactly what we want. Uh, Another thing about viewing cards, if I wanted to say I'm far away, so I'm right here, and I wanted to take a closer look at this card, I can do a couple things. I can go over here and double click on it, and I can see it'll bring up the image of the card there. Or I can come over here and press the space bar, and it'll do the same thing. So there's a couple ways to see what that card is, to get a closer look at that card. I think you can also, let's see, try something here, or you can zoom in on that. I think you can also press the plus and minus keys to zoom in and out. Let's go back to that view. So let's bring a couple cards into my hand using this menu item here. So shuffle, draw. Let's say I wanted to draw 3 cards. There you go, and I just drew 3 cards from here. As you can see, my icon here has it'll say how many cards are in my hand. So I have 3 here, and that's a great way. All the other players will have that. You'll be able to see how many cards each player has in their hand. So let's put this. Oops. Those cards on here. And if I wanted to select all these cards all at once, I can drag a box around it by going to the upper left of all the cards. I would then press Shift and drag a box around there, and that would highlight all 3 cards. And now I can take this and I can put it on the side. Wait till it changes color, and I release them, and they all go to one stack. So there you go. So let's go ahead and draw some cards from here again. Let's draw 4 cards here. So, oh wow, that's a great hand. So, if you wanted to, before you could, as you can see, I was putting down cards one at a time. If I wanted to put all of them down once, I would just put my cursor on one of the cards. And again, it's all about these object menus. I would go to select all, and then put them all down on the table here. Let's see. Shift. I'm curious if I can flip all the cards. So, select all. Let's see if we can flip. Oh yeah, I can. There you go. I flip all the cards. There you go. And I will take these and okay, put these back in the stack here. All right, a couple of things before we move on. Usually, when you're playing a game, it'll have the rules will be available right here, right this bottom left-hand corner. There will be an icon with a paper icon right there, and you can click on it, and it'll bring up the rules right on screen. This question mark is helpful. This is the help screen, and this will go over all the commands that you have in here. So if you ever get confused about uh, commands, you can just go here and press the question mark and click it again to turn that off. Uh, and then a couple other things I wanted to go over. Let's go here. You can move also these pawns right here, but just as the same way you move the chips. Let's see what this context menu brings up. So I can either lock it down, flip it over, rotate it, or flip it over. I don't really want to do any of that, but this is a counter here. So it's right now at 0. So if I wanted to increase this by 5, again, it's all about the context menu. Lock it, reset it, so it goes back to 0. So again, uh, just bring up your context menu to see what happens. So that's how you manipulate objects and cards in Tabletopia. I wanted to show you how to work with dice. Unfortunately, there's no dice in this particular game, so it gives me an opportunity to show you how to close off a game. So go to the upper left here where it says Tabletopia, and just turn that off. And so just go ahead and click Finish, and hey, I'm the winner. Great. And then confirm results, and then I go back to the lobby, and it'll bring us back here. And you can view the results, and what you're going to do is you have an open right now. Tabletopia considers you to have an open table. It's still kind of playing, uh, and that'll take up. That's one of the restrictions of, say, a free account. You can only have, I think, 1 or 2 open tables at once. So let's go ahead and close this off. Just hit close, and that'll close the room. And so you are now able to open up other rooms. Let's go to the home screen. Oh, actually, let's go to all games. And go to, again, classic games. And here we are. Where's one with a... Let's look for one with some dice. Oh, here. Actually, there's a specific one. There's a Farkle game. There he goes. It's Farkle. Let's go to Farkle. Just click on that, and here you are. You're in Farkle. 2-day players. So let's go ahead and play online. And again, it's going to create a room. And here's that lobby screen again, and just hit and look at the setup. So it's only one setup. So we'll go ahead and hit start. Oh, start. There we go. And here we are, playing some Farkle. Let's zoom in. All right. So as I said before, the context menu. If I wanted to roll these dice, I think I can just take them and kind of. No, I can't throw them. Well, let me do that. So let's use the context menu. So let's hit roll. I wonder if you can press R. Yep, you can just press R and it'll roll it for you. I think you can also set to a specific number. So right now it's on 3. Let's see if we can set it to 5. Yeah, there you go. I think you can roll several at the same time. Let's press Shift and highlight all 5 of these and hit roll. There you go. Oh, I got the whole thing. Let's see if I can just get these 5. There you go. And then roll. There you go. I can do that. So that's how to manipulate dice. So you got the components, you got the objects, you got the cards, and you have dice. That's how to work. And that's mainly all the things the basic things you'll be working with in Tabletopia. I'm curious. Yeah, interesting. Just wondering what this space was here. All right, so that is pretty much it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments, or I will also leave my email address in the description box. Feel free to email me. Thanks for watching the tutorial. Please contact me if you have any questions. Thanks again.